Hello, bastard viewers. Professional miserable person Winkers here with another update from GGG. And damn, is it kind of a nice one. I want to start off by saying I'm really happy with the direction they're taking on communication. They're not always telling us they have something to say right now, but it's honestly quite the luxury to have a developer tell us that they're working on something, even if it's just a casual update. And we get a few of those in this post. We're going to get to the really great part last. Let's start with the harder to swallow pills, and some decent changes as well. For starters, rock formations in Lake of Kalandra in an upcoming patch will actually allow you to hide from enemy attacks. That's going to be a huge boost to your survivability. The ability to use terrain to modulate incoming damage is one of those things people kind of do subconsciously most of the time these days. But very specifically, if you've done Lake of Kalandra and run into the goddess from like the labyrinth, and she does her beam on you, you have to run. You can't actually break it on terrain, and that makes that fight a lot harder. So that will be different. Using formations just to hide and control the incoming flow of enemies will also be there, which is important because at the higher difficulties, the enemies take a while to kill. There's no way around it. They're investigating beyond. I'm not holding my breath on this. I have a slight concern that how they're approaching beyond and how they're approaching harvest may be handled by the same person, and that person is not our friend. Reflecting mists are becoming more common. Fine. I'd love to see them more common, but, you know, it is what it is. They understand that general drops in the lake are okay, and that's true. If you run a lake, you are probably stacking non-league content tiles, if you've been doing it for a little while. And if you get to a high difficulty and you open a currency chest, it's alright. It's not incredible, but it's fine, you know. The biggest problem with the lake in that respect is that you don't get to do the lake enough, I feel. But what you get is pretty good when you're there. They do mention they're looking for specific feedback about what league type encounters you run into in the lake and how they can make them more rewarding. So if you're a big fan of giving feedback, you know, go to the official forums, go to the Reddit post. I'll link them in the description. You can say your piece. Harvest crafting. Well, they're making it so we can see how much life force we have at the crafting station, which is a nice quality of life boost. That said, they're emphasizing their obstinance on this. But they do it in a way that isn't completely bleak. They're basically saying a lot of the crafts people want back just can't come back with Harvest the way it is. And that might not be an issue. As insane as it is to say that, we have to get to why, of course. And that's actually brought up in the next section about Eldritch currency. Now, if you're talking about Harvest crafting a lot this league, you're probably really upset, like most people, about the prefix and suffix crafts being removed, because those were how you took a really great item and turned it into a top tier item. For the most part. That was the crux. You needed that to modulate your crafts. They are making Eldritch currencies, the Eldritch Exalted Orbs, Eldritch Chaos Orbs, and Eldritch Orbs of Annulment, drop in lower area levels, and they're buffing their drop rate. That's pretty good already, but it only affects 4 item slots. And they're aware of that. They say that. Probably the most important thing they're talking about here, though, is that we need the tools for other gear slots. And I guess maybe we're going to get that. We might get new currencies that let us control the crafting on various types of items. So the Eldritch stuff will affect your gloves, boots, body, helm. Maybe we'll get another set for weapons and things that go in those slots, shields and bows and whatnot. And then maybe we'll get one for jewelry, and that would actually cover every piece of equipment. And the point they're making is they don't want to offer those crafts in Harvest where it's super deterministic to acquire them. They believe there needs to be a certain amount of randomness in how you get these crafts. And in Trade League, like, yeah, okay, that all smooths out. But in SSF, little different. Honestly, yeah, if they give us back the crafts in another way, there really isn't a problem anymore. You have a way to proceed, even if it's more expensive than before. Just the fact that it's there is going to be really great. And if it is expensive, then that's more stuff we can find in maps that's exciting to find. So I'm great with it. Special shout out, though. Yeah, special shout out to this asshole. And all 494 people who upvoted him. I don't know what you're doing or what you want. This is, like, not appropriate. Lake of We're Discussing. Yes, Lake of Being Discussed With. Alright, you want radio silence again? You can have it. Leave the rest of us out of it, honestly. This is the wrong kind of behavior right now. That's toxicity for the sake of being toxic. All right, you've got a chip on your shoulder and you want everyone to know, and a bunch of people have that same chip. Congratulations. That's not going to make the game better. Please, we got to have some decorum, or they're going to disappear again, and we're going to be actually on maintenance mode. Turns out the game's not on maintenance mode. They're still making changes and they're still talking about stuff. And with any luck, they'll do that for another possibly 2 to 3 weeks, and the game will actually reach a very playable state. And finally, at the end of it all, we have the Archnemesis changes. The nerfs are here. This might be the biggest one you're going to feel in general mapping yet, and that's after they already kind of took out the ability for the game to severely kneecap you. For starters, kind of a minor note, but one that I'm very happy about, heralding minions is going to not be in Delve anymore. And that's very important. If you've experienced heralding minions in Delve, that mod can be straight up broken in situations. And the fact that it's being pulled out of there is a great sign. Personally, I'd like to see the same thing happen in Toxic, because doing a node and having Toxic spawn is pretty unfun. It's just a constant flood of minions with Toxic. And I have corpse removal now, so it really doesn't affect me as much, but Toxic is rough. They do bring up quality currency rewards and flasks dropping from certain Archnemesis modifiers feeling bad, and they're discussing it internally. They do agree that it feels bad, and that's kind of a good sign. Honestly, the quality currency drops don't bother me that much. I think the biggest thing they could do to make that better is have kind of a roll together system where if it would drop enough whetstones and scraps, it kind of takes them to a higher tier. So instead of getting, 600 whetstones, you'd get like 40 chisels. Because if 40 chisels dropped from a mob, or 40 glassblowers baubles, or 40 gem cutters prisms, you'd be really excited. That's amazing. Probably not going to see prisms very often, but like chisels especially, I feel like could make that feel amazing. They're discussing spikes and drop variants as well. I don't know what to say about this. They really kind of went all in on a system that's not popular, and I don't think they can really fix it. I could be wrong. I'm not sure what they do here. I guess just lower the punch of those drops and then buff the rest of the game would probably be the smartest thing they could do. It'll still be exciting if you see a Solaris Torch mob and it drops you 2 Divine Orbs. It's just a problem when it drops, 80. Here's the big one. Archnemesis mods will be capped at 2 mods, unless there is a mod that converts or buffs items. I can't even begin to say how big a change this is, just in general, because of the power, like the base power they seem to gain from getting a 3rd Archnemesis mod, and now you just won't see that unless it's going to be a rare that's more worth your time. That's real good. You're going to fly through, like if you were able to map comfortably, you're going to start flying through maps now. You're going to feel good, and the only time you're going to slow down is when there's something at least to be a tiny bit excited about. Maybe it's flasks and you're like, damn it. But otherwise, there's going to be something on the mob that will make them a little more exciting. And that's kind of amazing. Like that's really, really what needed to happen. Honestly, this should have been in from the start. But I can't blame them for doing things on a 13-week development schedule because, I enjoy having new content frequently, and that's going to come with situations like this. This is probably the worst one we've ever had, but in all the years they've been doing it, that's not too bad. That's pretty good, actually. There's also a last note about monsters applying permanent marks, which they should probably give enemies a version of marks that has a duration. Because a permanent mark it's a permanent mark. You have a debuff for the rest of time. Anyway. That's all for now. I had clips to share because I haven't been able to stream, but I've still been trying to record. But the video got corrupted, so Sag. Thanks for stopping by. And what did the Keurig mission roll for you?
I have no idea. It's done now.
Did you kill him?
No.
Oh. that's a I left type situation.
And I had just gotten my my level. We're fine.
It's your lucky day, Exile. By the entire vial, a carefully applied rune of nullification could do one by the entire
What is that item?
by hammer by the entire vial. Allow me
Eye
to
of
take
Innocence?
the hammer to this thing's tofu small runes.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
I just made gloves. Fuck you. Oh, wait. Oh, no. No way.
What?
And it's a perfect roll! You drop the staff. Oh, yeah, I did it again. A perfect roll is worth 60C.
Nice.
I'm just... I can't lose.
The gambler's fallacy.
So I'm 100% on bosses this league, alright? I've only fought 2, but I am 100%.